Hi guys, ZCrazyG here, and we're back to continue where we left off in our ranking of every CTR Nitro Fuel track from worst to best. Yes, this is a part 2, so if you have not seen the first part in which I go through numbers 34 to 21 of my rankings, then I would advise watching that first. So before we all start, just to reinstate that this is all simply my opinion. If you would rank them differently, then please do let me know in the comments. I would be very interested to know why. Anyway, with that out the way, let's get straight back into the ranking with Rouge Tubes. Now, despite it being an incredibly simple track, I just find Rouge Tubes so much fun to play in Nitro Fueled. The visuals are so cool here and really do justice to the whole underwater theming. And despite the simplicity, I find that it flows very nicely in Nitro Fueled's mechanics and is a lot of fun when played online, even if people do vote for it too much. But I'm very happy with Rouge Tubes in Nitro Fueled, not ecstatic or anything, but satisfied. And I suppose I would say the same for Assembly Lane. A track that I thought was decent but never really gave much thought to in Nitro Kart, but when playing it again in Nitro Fueled, I thought it was a pretty solid track. Kind of a blend between Tiny Arena and Engine Labs. It's got some good design and layout with some really well done shortcuts, though it does feel a bit slow and empty a bit of the time. It does, however, have a really cool visual style with a lot of grungy brown and green colours. Which is a coincidence since our next track has a very similar colour palette but with a more lighter tone, that being Jungle Boogie. These transitions are just getting fucking worse, aren't they? Jesus. Jungle Boogie was a fun track in Nitro Kart, and it's still a fun track here. It flows quickly and smoothly with a good setting and environmental variation with some really nicely implemented shortcuts. Also, it just looks damn good, nothing more to say. It is a good track I like. But you wanna know what I like a little bit more? Tiny Temple. Now, I've previously referred to this track as a more glorified Tiger Temple, and yeah, I would stand by that. They do share very similar visual styles and settings, but Tiny Temple has a more interesting layout with both wider and narrow areas, and it cuts out the pointless anti-grav section very nicely. But really, we all know why this track is a lot of fun. That fucking Sacred Fire is so damn satisfying to maintain for the whole last 2 laps, it's awesome. Just as awesome as Beanox's creativity in making new tracks. Prehistoric Playground, that's what I was building up to. Might not have seemed like it, but anyway. Personally, I think Beanox have been doing an awesome job with their original track so far, and Prehistoric Playground is just one example of that. With a good variety in its track layout with both wider and narrow areas, it makes maintaining Ultimate Sacred Fire more challenging, yet more rewarding as well. It's great knowing that Beanox have capable understanding of good CTR track design, and their best current example is still yet to come. I would also say they're very good at taking a track that I found boring in the original and making it hella fun. The track in question being Tiny Arena. Now, I wasn't really a big fan of Tiny Arena in the original. I thought it bland, way too long, and just boring. But shit, in Nitro Fueled, I just really enjoy it a lot more. Not only do the visuals actually do a fantastic job at representing the proper atmosphere for this track, but I find it works so much better in Nitro Fueled's mechanics. It makes what used to be a drag into a really fun, and in the case of online, an intense and engaging race from start to end. It's just great seeing what a change of mechanics and a coat of paint can do for a track, even in the case of a track like Android Alley. Now, this was a track in Nitro Kart that I really thought had great potential, but was held back by the faults of that game. And now with the clunkiness of Nitro Kart's controls and a much brighter and fresher visual style than its original moodier and muddier tone, it really elevates it in my opinion. It feels like racing through the future levels of Crash 3, and the removal of another pointless anti-grav section just improves the flow. Even that damn train is more tolerable here. However, unlike Android Alley, there are instances of tracks suffering due to the changes in Nitro Fueled. Tracks such as Sewer Speedway. Now, if this list had been made a bit earlier, believe me, this track would have been a lot lower. I loved this track in the original. It was so smooth and fun to just drive and drift around. But something happened to this track in Nitro Fueled, a little something called collision detection. As you all know, on launch, this track suffered majorly, but I'm happy to say that mostly it has been fixed. Even then though, it still doesn't feel as smooth as it did in the original, but honestly, I still really enjoy it. It still flows incredibly well, and the graphics and presentation are top notch. Because believe me, it wouldn't be in this spot if I didn't enjoy it. It's just that it's not as good as it used to be. There are also tracks though, regardless of the changes in mechanics, always retain their same charm, such as Polar Pass. Always a good solid fun time, Polar Pass is just as fun as it was in the original, but this time with just more style and detail to give it that extra spice of life. And gotta admit something here, I never knew in the original that this was water. I always thought that it was just some murky bottomless pit or some shit. But yeah, not much to say, it's a solid time, much like our number 11 pick, Thunderstruck. Like Android Alley, I thought Thunderstruck in Nitro Kart was a track that had such great potential. It had such a great setting and theming, but the abundance of anti-grav sections really killed its flow. But now in Nitro Fueled, it is as smooth as N-Trance's shiny bald egghead. And while the track layout has been changed quite drastically, I'll be honest that it benefits so much from it. While at the same time not only retaining the really unique visual theme it had, but enhancing it. Honestly, it really goes nuts with it. All the while still incorporating those elements that made it stand out. I only wish we didn't keep finding exploits so that we can finally have fair races online again. Like, seriously, what the fuck is this? And that wraps up the second part of my rankings. How are you feeling about it so far? Good? Bad? Z, you're a disgrace to mankind? Surely one of those things. And hey, we've still got the final part to go, my top 10. It should be a good one, so make sure not to miss it. And with that, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, guys.